sound check. Leave a comment if you hear the sound, just to make sure we're all good. We're going to go live. The topic for tonight is going to be following up on relevancy, but it's going to be giving you a state of the world. So if you hear sound right now, let me know. Leave a comment. I'll be going on live in 5 minutes. I'm going to riff on kind of the state of the world, some of my struggles. So if you do hear this, please leave a comment and say, hey, you got sound or you don't got sound. Hold on. I need to turn on Instagram now. Ooh. Uh-oh. See, Instagram's acting weird. See if we get Instagram back on. See if this will work. Let me know if you guys can see me on Instagram yet. You should be able to see me on Instagram. If you got sound, let me know in the comments. Let me know if you have sound. I think we have sound, but I'm not sure. We're going on in 4 minutes. I don't know why my computer's really working today, isn't it? Jeez. What's going on in the activities? What is going on? Chrome Crashpad Handler. Chrome Helper. UPC Continuity Capture. I don't know. All right. Let me know on Instagram if you guys got sound. Leave a comment.
Warning. We say the word fuck a lot.
Fuck.
So if that messes with your sensibilities,
Sorry,
Fuck.
guys.
We don't
That's what I
give
got.
up.
Fuck.
This is Smashing the Party with Nate Bomberger. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the party.
Second. Let me know if you guys hear sound. I might have some problems here. This thing's stuttering. It's acting weird. Really, really weird. Oh, you know what? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do that. So that should help. Got 2 minutes. Let me know if you hear sound. Hopefully you guys have sound. Hopefully you have sound. Hopefully you have sound. All right, so All right. I think I'm going to go live. If you guys can hear me, hopefully you can hear me. And we're going to go live. Bring me in. Bring me in. Where are we here? Where is your main? Why is that there? There we go. All right. State of the world. That's what I'm talking about tonight. Welcome to Smash the Party. This is Nightcap. By the way, one of the things I'm going to not hesitate to talk about, which is annoying the hell out of me, is look, I came up with the whole Nightcap concept years ago. And Smashing the Party was birthed in, I think it was 2008, before I lost the domain, the DNS record. I think it was 2009 is when I opened it up, because it was right around the time of Obama. By the way, welcome. Just jumping right into it. There's no fucking preamble, just jumping right into it. Just want to get into it. So, but as I'm kind of preparing for the show tonight and looking at my data and the analytics across different platforms, fucking YouTube, of course, the hashtag Nightcap is taken by yours truly, not yours truly, Shannon Sharpe. And I've been seeing him in my feed, and I was like, why am I seeing all this football stuff? It's Shannon Sharpe. He's interviewing. He's great. He did the whole Cat Williams interview and got viral for that. And so, but he took my name and he has the hashtag, owns it on YouTube. Like I was like, fuck, his was Nightcap. I had hashtag Nightcap a while ago. And I know his show's newer than mine. Look, he's made it. Okay. I'm just annoyed because, like, I have this, the way my brain works. I'm like, all right, got to do this. I'm just starting to look at YouTube, and I'm like, all right, my hashtag's right. My name is solid. I did all the research, but now my research is old because someone came up with Nightcap. Maybe he watched it. Maybe he saw it. It's brilliant. I know. That's why he took it. And his is like really nice, and it's a nice studio, and it looks warm and fuzzy. He's got this stupid lisp, and he's amazing. So good for him. But it's just driving me nuts because I'm like, oh, Nightcap, I have this logo, I have all this design. By the way, my neighbor designed all this stuff for me. And so it's really nice. I love it. And Nightcap is taken. It's taken on YouTube. Okay. I know you didn't check in to see me fucking talk about my drama, but I am giving you a state of the world. And that's one of the things I want to talk about. So state of the world for me means, like, look, here's what's going on in my life, in my perspective, from my little bubble where I see things. And quite frankly, it's been really good on the kind of growing back and getting into the swing of things. And I'm enjoying it. But like, there's been these weird fucking hurdles. Like weird hurdles. Like I'm trying to clean up my profile, and all of a sudden now I'm listed as a spammer because I unfollowed people. And so that makes it just a little tiny hurdle of, when you're going through your day doing your little stupid, you don't want to look, I don't want to spend too much time on social media. I'm trying to put out output. So I go on and now it's like got this annoyance where I can't do XYZ. And so that's just a pain. And then the TikTok thing of like, all right, well, my growth wasn't necessarily organic because I went to a grow room, which I didn't know was a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, by the way, if you're doing it. It's just you got to manage your growth and all this stuff. So I'm going back into it. I'm a software architect. Like I'm a tech person, but these applications have kind of evolved beyond where like you got to kind of use them and kind of get into the flow. But any kind of hurdle like that just creates a little obstacle to kind of my planning and strategy. So that's why I figured tonight I'm just going to say, look, I'm going to share what the state of the world is, because it's been one of those days where it's like fucking everything is just a fucking hurdle. Not days. It's been like a week like that. I mean, look, the show, and I feel like last night's, look, I have trouble giving myself a compliment, but I'm going to say I thought last night's was decent. So I watched it. It was like, all right. So things are going well in that regard, but these challenges of kind of running into and And why is it relevant, I guess, is because I'm still at the behest of all these big corporations. I'm really trying to kind of grow this network inside these corporate entities, which have complete control over what I say and do. And it's kind of like it's a weird oxymoron. And as I said yesterday, I don't like systems that are, that kind of control me, or I feel like they're so stupid, doesn't make sense, so I ignore it. This is one of those things where I'm kind of looking around going, what options do I have? And of course, I started the website Smashing the Party because I wanted to have my own distribution. I ran my own server on Amazon. That got stolen, and that's a whole story. I really will get into it, but I don't want to say too much because I'm still trying to get that domain back. There was nothing I did. Everything was on auto renew. It's a whole thing. And Amazon admitted, I shouldn't say this on camera because there's some things I'm going through to get it back, and it's possible, but it's a long shot. But so that was a hurdle for me getting back. Just like these technical things. It's like, I'm a technical person, and you're like, well, Nate, what the hell's going on? I'm going to accept full responsibility. The buck stops with me. But it's just been kind of, it's been threading this kind of weakness for me. It's like, how are you falling apart? Like, I like to set things and forget them. And then when that doesn't happen, or something's not right, or if things get disoriented, or like I say they should be a certain way and they're not, that can throw me for a loop. So that's my state of the world, is I've been kind of having reasonable content engine going. When I talk about those three things, if you watched my show a couple shows back, I talked about the three things to motivate or kind of keep this going: our content engine, creativity engine, being relevant. And I'll kind of key in on relevancy tonight. But so I've been happy with that, but it's been like how to get it so that I'm just kind of really focused on it. And I don't want to churn on this stuff. I want to get to the issues and talk about things that are important. Like, there's a lot going on. And so, I feel bad using this time to give you a state of the world, but there's always tomorrow, hopefully. And it's important for me to kind of lay it on the line, because these are the moments where I kind of sometimes feel like I kind of fold into myself, where I'm like, all right, fuck, man, it's not perfect. Just stop. And today I was like, you know what, just kind of lay it on the line and say how you're feeling about it. And quite frankly, it's just been little punches. I described it as needles. They're like needles that just kind of been stopping me from getting into a flow. And so I left a pretty happy message about my following and things are going good. But then, it's just been this constant thing where I'm like, things aren't perfect. And I'm sure everyone relates to it. You're like, dude, you're just trying to fucking do a stream. But you ever get that way where, you're working hard, but almost things are just like, it feels like they're out of your control. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, how did that, like, the chances of that happening, and then this happening and this happening. And so it kind of weighs in on you. And so when I was thinking about what I'm going to talk about tonight, I'm going through looking at content. A couple things happened today. Okay. One of the first things that happened, and I was going to really talk about this, but I shied away because I couldn't get the technical stuff. I'm looking at my feeds and I'm looking at my streams, and I was trying to analyze the content that's coming in. Like, I've unfollowed a lot of accounts on Instagram. And so I have different kind of content coming in. I'm able to spend more time on the folks that follow me. So it's a win-win, right? I'm not following crap. I'm not saying, look, if I unfollowed you, it's not crap. Sorry. It's just that I just don't have an interest in it right now. So it's lower priority. Apologies. Look, everyone that's out there creating content, it's not crap. It's hard to do this shit. So I apologize. Forgive me. But so I go through and I clean up my feed, and I'm getting better content and I'm having more interactivity. And I'm realizing that there's still this kind of like Big Brother feeling to stuff that's coming in my feed. Like, how is it deciding which friend or which company gets priority? Okay, I know the answers to these. There's algorithms. There's literally, I actually had to work on a system that was very much like this, where it was tons of things coming instantaneously. And so you had to prioritize them because the priority was very important in how that system was organized. It was a lead generation system. So the question becomes like, how do they design that? It's not just like, all right, first come, first serve. And so you start to see like it's really become apparent to me that, as I talk about relevancy and these things that I want to do, and I'm stuck inside this bubble. This is a corporation. I'm streaming from a corporation. I'm using corporate distribution methods to get my model out of free speech, right? In this state controlled, which you could say they're state issued. Corporations only exist because the state allows them to. If there's no state, corporations don't exist. Okay. If you don't have a country, you can't have a state. Or if you don't have a country or a state, you don't have a corporation because you need articles to incorporate that and something to say, hey, you're a corporation, blah, blah, blah. So you start to, I'm starting to go, let me kind of backtrack. I'm going through my day and I'm seeing, this sifting through content. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I wanted to do this exercise. This is what I'm not going to do. But it was like apparent to me that Facebook, when you don't really decide anything, it defaults to this just horrible stream of shit. And Facebook, God bless you. I'm streaming on your platform, but it was just amazing to me because it's if you start a brand new account and you just let it kind of go. In my Smashing the Party account, there's really nothing that it's following. It might get it probably inherits some things from my other accounts, but it was amazing to see I throw liberal shit on there all the time. So, you could say Facebook's trying to inject an alternative position, but it was nothing but crap. And these websites that I was going to, that I was looking at that on Facebook, and this was part of a news feed that Facebook was generating for me. I started to go down the rabbit hole of like, all right, well, who owns this website? So you go to the page transparency and they give you some things, but then you can look at the companies and sometimes they give you some, and then you can look at the companies and actually look into the people at the companies and see, sometimes you can see who's actually an admin on the site. And then you can kind of aggregate, all right, well, these companies are part of Hearst Television. And of course, they're owned, managed by them. But then you start to see this weird ass messaging that comes out across the board, across the nation. Like, I'm just one person on Facebook, but if you have enough money, you can have multiple pages, for instance, and the conservatives have done a real good job of kind of capturing, if you will, Facebook, in that it defaults to a lot of conservative positions. Twitter didn't used to be that way. Twitter was purchased, and now Twitter kind of defaults to a conservative position. Look, if you're a conservative, you're thinking, yay. But the truth is, when I say conservative position, it doesn't necessarily mean that those things are based on facts. And unfortunately, conservatives, because they don't really value education, are like, oh, you don't need it. I'm sorry. I know I'm blanket statement shit, but you have people that just buy into cheaper, dumb shit. Like, for instance, they'll elect a fucking moron. They'll literally follow a moron, get him tattooed on their chest. I'm saying that whole swath of people exists in the Republican Party. We know because they elected a moron. So I know I went off tangent. I'm sorry. Just you see me just going like I'm like but kind of bringing it back to, as I'm getting my feed, I'm just seeing that no matter what, I'm under the control or the thumb of somebody. And so, as much as I'm like, this might look bold, and I think, I'd like to think of myself as speaking out. I get messages from people that are like, oh, I wish I could say things. I can't because my job. And so I'm like, I'm like, oh, look at me. I'm saying things, right? I'm not really saying shit. And, people probably like, dude, you're not really saying shit. But also, I'm wrapped inside the whole entire web of problem that we have. And so you got to work within the system to fucking fix it, which is weird. And, this is where, you got these revolutionaries that talk about ripping down the system and anarchists go another way. But it really does come down to kind of really metering and understanding what's going on. If you don't measure it, it doesn't exist. So if you don't really know what's going on in government, or you don't know what's going on in corporations, it's hard to know kind of what's actually happening. And so it's hard to get the true story. I know it sounds like I'm not coherent, but my larger kind of drift for today was to give you a state of the world, but also help you understand, like, these networks that I'm working within are managed and controlled. And so I definitely 100% go outside of these networks to get my information, of course. But it just becomes more apparent to me that if somebody decides that I'm not relevant, I don't have a lot of choice no matter how much. They can probably get me hooked on the boosting until I'm broke kind of thing. And this sounds really fatalistic, and it's not, but I'm just kind of taking that step back in the state of the world and saying, all right, look, I'm trying to grow this fucking like network of ideas and maybe rebel rousers and muckrakers in a system that's going to basically have a switch to flip on and off, which my Instagram right now, I can do things from the business manager, but I can't use the mobile app. It just doesn't, it says I'm compromised and all this bullshit. Put me in a spam. So I don't have Instagram on my phone right now, which is fine with me. I can still post things there. I can obviously do lives, but it's like that is now I'm dealing with Meta because I'm verified. They're working on it. They said they've got people working on it, specialized team. I'm like, dude, I know how you can fix it. Go into my fucking account, go to an admin. You should have a fucking admin there. Oh, I was getting mad because I'm like, guys, you have Facebook. Come on, go. You should literally be able to fucking search my account. You have to be able to do that. Like, put my account ID, go see all the logins, go see all the shit. Let's talk about it. Verify it on the phone together. I don't care. We can do video chat. Like, stop acting like it's some fucking crazy weird shit that I don't understand. It's not that complicated. You can figure it out. You got logs. Stop. I don't care how complicated your fucking network is. Anyway, just don't get me started. I'm one of those managers. I'm like, no excuse. No, I don't take it. So, but I kind of come to the conclusion that, this is the system that I have, but it can be kind of daunting to know that like my Instagram, fortunately, my tech allows me to kind of circumvent this and do some things. I use OBS. I'm not super genius guy, but I'm able to kind of still work around all these little potholes that are in front of me. But I imagine that it makes it a barrier to entry for other people difficult. I imagine that it also, Julian Assange, not holding him to high esteem or anything like that for all you fucking people that said, oh, he was our guy. But he had this big engine going and he was speaking truth to power and he got shut down. I'm not saying he didn't do anything illegal. So, and he had his own thing. He thought the same thing. It's like, by the way, I'm not associating myself with that person. I'm just saying he was 100% out to speak truth to power at one point and did things that might have got him in trouble, which I don't agree with. So I'm not going to state my I'm a Julian Assange person by any means. But it's an example of somebody who is disseminating information that the powers that be don't want out there. Stone's another example. And again, you can say whatever about him and I haven't really gone there for a long time on my position on his fleeing, but I understand. And I do understand the difficulties of we don't really have good whistle protector laws. Otherwise, people wouldn't flee and we'd have more whistleblowing. If they were really protected, look, we know why. Everyone has HR at their company. Like, as soon as you say something stupid, it gets to HR. It's like fucking blows up. That's the same shit. People just don't want the problem, so they avoid it, so they don't report it. It's a mess. Anyway, so let's go back to kind of my larger point, state of the world, and that is I'm definitely really kind of feeling the forces that I'm working under, in that no matter what I do, I'm still kind of at their call. There's no real virility that's going to happen, if that's a word, virality. That's not going to be kind of hoisted upon some corporate network. No one's going to find out about my website unless I fucking get Google ranked, and Google can say, fuck you, we're not going to rank you. So, I mean, we're really at the behest of these corporations. So I can see where Republicans and the conservative base goes nuts about big tech. And right now there's definitely a kind of thread on Facebook about whether political speech is being blocked on Facebook. And I'm just like, man, you guys are getting all your shit. It feels like a conservative bastion to me. If that's a word that I can use correctly, maybe not. But anyway, so bringing it back, state of the world for me it's been like that. It's been a struggle to kind of keep these, like, kind of do the dance with these platforms, clean up my network at the same time, and kind of continue to crank out content without kind of having that stumble like I did today of like, my gosh, what the hell, dude? I'm just like, they can just shut me down at any point. So anyway, I need a drink of water. Anyway, so I want to wrap. I just want to say I'm going to wrap with this. Look, let me just close that point nice and clean. State of the world right now, definitely difficult for me, kind of running through the different platforms and kind of fighting with some of the conditions. TikTok seems to be the most friendly. I mean, they really do walk you through it. Now, Facebook has the same thing now where they kind of walk you through things, but Instagram just kind of let me do shit and didn't fucking tell me that it was going to put me into a spam box. So, you know, if you're in this, why is this important? Why is this political? Why does it matter? Because these are the models of distribution that you have. I mean, the purchase of Twitter and the shit, you know, the fact that Elon Musk shit on Twitter sucks. The fact that they're going to try to shit on TikTok and make that just like the other shit bin of Twitter sucks. So, like, you know, we have these models. And if you look at Ben Shapiro, he's got a monster following. Same with Charlie Kirk now. I mean, these conservatives can kind of go in that chamber. And as much as anytime you hear that projecting, one party saying, oh, no, it's not fair, you gotta know it's projecting. And Republicans right now have been projecting about social media. And I'm telling you, they're fucking owning it. They're owning a lot of the misinformation, but it's the stuff that motivates you. It's the stuff that triggers you. It's the stuff that gets comments. It's the stuff that gets engagement. And I think they're doing a better job of creating that content because that stuff gets people off their ass. Again, fear, emotion, not logic, but fear and emotion. Anyway, so in closing, sticking on the topic of relevancy, kind of, because for me, it's still kind of obvious that I'm stuck in the system. And even as I create content, the only thing that I own is what I say out of my mouth. So this is it. Once some platform decides they don't want Nate, then they can. And that's kind of daunting to me. In that, is it free speech? No. But that's not what free speech is, right? It doesn't say anything about digital dissemination or distribution models for speech. Anyway, so I don't want to go off on it. And look, I'm still feeling very, very good. I don't want to, I don't want this to be, when I look back on this, as a downer, but it's just apparent that there's a long hill to fight if I'm going to get through and pierce through. And so where I have enough relevancy where the platforms fucking just have to put me on. I mean, that's almost impossible though. I mean, they shut down Sean King. They can shut down Joe Rogan. They can shut down anything. So, too big to fail in media is really tough. How do you do that? Trump's done it. Trump's got enough. He's got the hardcore people. And now, is that what you want? Do you want fucking, that demagoguery and that blind worship, just to get things done? I don't know. I'm sweating in here. Let me open the door real quick. All right. So, man, I was cooking in here. So, when I think about tonight's kind of riff, the driving force is just to think about and kind of really open your mind to how do we work outside, how do we work inside a system when the state of the world is that all the systems are tech companies that we have to work with in order to get your message out. And I think it's a real weakness, and it's a real kind of, I would say it's a security vector for an attack on democracy by saying that you can control these, at some point someone could hypothetically in some dystopian world gain control or maybe make a conglomerate where they're all one, and then you own everything and you just shut things off as you see fit. I mean, we're not far away from there, but it just makes me more concerned with the ease with maybe the feasibility and how easily they can now kind of shut a voice down as opposed to before. I do want to follow up this kind of conversation with my take on protesting in general. Maybe we'll call that evergreen content, because I think there's definitely a problem with how people understand the whole purpose of protesting. And protesting is not ever supposed to be fucking convenient. Okay. It's supposed to fuck people up and do shit, maybe not hurt them, but throw them for a loop. Like, oh shit, man, I can't get to the airport. So we'll get into that in a whole nother session. I don't want to dilute this one, this little bit of a ramble, but I really wanted to just kind of lay it out there that that's an ongoing thing for me, that I'm always trying to fight with this tech, along with the fact that, being creative. And so if you get hung up on one of the things, the other two things kind of falter. So it's harder to be creative when I'm stuck on these tech bullshit loops, like on chat with Meta for 3 hours or whatever. It's been days now. So, I'm just laying it out there. Look, you guys like vulnerability. It's been one of those days where I'm like, I did a lot, right? A lot got done, but nothing got done. And that's been kind of the last couple of days has been feeling like that with this, when it comes to this, not my day job, but when it comes to this, it's been feeling like a lot of spinning. So anyway, we'll be back tomorrow. By the way, thanks again. I got to give a shout out. Slam that like button, slam the subscribe, go to YouTube, go to TikTok. Just want to say, you guys are going to think this is funny, but it's real. Just want to say, I got 4 views like within 24 hours of a video that I posted on YouTube. And I'm not fucking with you. Like, there's been months where a video has 1 view. Okay. 1 view. Within 24 hours, 4 views. Now, I don't know what kind of monetary value that is right now, okay? But I do know it's the start of something. So I just want to say thank you, really seriously. Like, I'm going to celebrate these weird-ass little tiny bumps because they're big. I mean, I also got like 25 new followers on Facebook. So, I mean, it's really fucking big deal. And I just want to say thank you. I just want to say this and then I'll wrap because I'm all over the place. But I remember when I started Delilah the Pug, the Instagram on that. And when I got her, I remember making posts that I was like, all right, I'm going to get to 50. I'm going to get to 100. And at that one point, I think my highest, I was almost at 14,000. I hope my brain's not moving numbers, but I know it was at least 12. So 12,000 on Instagram, right? But I remember those first times where I'm like, all right. And I remember looking back at it when I was at like 5,000. At one point, people writing me letters. I had it was not only 12,000, it was like an engine. People were like obsessed and checking it every day and getting mad when I didn't post. And I was like, oh my God, this is too much. It was too much. Like, I'm okay if people get like this with this because it's like issues, but it was my pug. And I'm like, but I just remember looking back on it and just thinking like, I had no idea I would get to that part where it would be like 14,000. And I remember feeling that feeling when I posted of like, oh, this is going to really sting when I look back on this 5 years from now and I still have 100 people. Didn't happen. Nothing. The same thing's happening with this. Like every single time I come back to this, it's increasing. So like maybe I'll have a mass unfollowing one day and that's fine. You guys are getting, look, people use their power anywhere. Like, oh, fuck Nate, I'm unfollowed. I'm not giving, I got to hold back. You got that power. But I will say that it's just encouraging as I go through these ups and downs, the state of the world, and I deal with these challenges. I do see the fucking graph going up and it's kind of good and it's kind of really good and it's kind of a little bit overwhelming, exciting. And it doesn't really have to do with followers. It has to do with reach. So I know people are watching and listening and that's great. And that's what we want. Now I just need you to support it, like it, subscribe it, share it, give me ideas. Also, look, this isn't just fucking my time right now. I mean, I'm happy. There are many issues that people put in my inbox that I'm going through. I know, Chloe, you put some issues in there. I'm not going to waste time on it and do it shitty. So I'm researching it. There's other people that put some issues in there. I'm happy to talk about things that you're interested in. But I will say that when it comes to the end of the day, I have editorial control And if I need to just talk about the state of the world and how things are going for Nate Bomberg, that's what I'm going to do. Okay. And that's what you're going to deal with. You're still going to like it. You're still going to subscribe. Especially go subscribe on TikTok. My goal for TikTok is to get to 10,000. It opens up a whole bunch of doors. Right now, I'm at like almost 1,100 followers. By the way, I started at a couple weeks ago. I was at 100 or something like that, 200. So, and that's real engagement. Those are real people. I've engaged with those people. I watch their videos. I like them, when I can. So I just want to say thanks to everybody. With that being said, I'll close today. Make sure you check me out tomorrow at 10:30. Tell your friends. Word of mouth is good. It's the best thing. I'm not boosting anything. I'm not doing anything right now. So this has all been organic growth. So I just want to say thank you. Continue it. Please like, subscribe, do all that shit. Criticize me. Let me know in the comments how I did. And I'll see you guys tomorrow at 10:30. Hopefully we had sound all night. Please, for the love of God, don't let me go to the comments section and see we had no sound. All right. Take it easy, fellas and ladies. We're going to talk. We're going to turn off Instagram. All right.